As you might be able to tell, land combat is my preferred method of fighting in mechs. Whilst I totally understand why people enjoy space fights or high-G dogfights, I like to have my feet firmly planted on the ground. So let's take a look at a mobile suit that I said I'd eventually take a look at, mainly because it's one of the most attractive gym models I've ever seen. Let's talk about the Gym Land Combat type. First deployed in the mid to late stages of the One-Year War, the RG-M-79 Gym was a massive breakthrough for the Federation. Having superior weapons compared to the Zaku, better armor, and with the manufacturing capabilities the Federation had, the Gym became one of the most widespread mobile suits ever produced. However, although it was good in a general sense, the suit lacked specialization. I know that the jack of all trades is a really good thing overall, and it's better than having a overly specialized mobile suit, but sometimes you just need something a little better suited for a specific region or climate. Specifically, the European theater of operations needed mobile suits that were able to take more of a beating whilst maintaining speed and mobility. However, while climate-specific modifications were definitely on the forefront of the Federation's mind, they had a different problem on their hands, namely beam attenuation. See, early Universal Century beam weapons didn't really have a problem operating in space. Since space is a vacuum, there really isn't much to get in the way of the beam to dissipate it. On Earth, however, you have this little thing called the air, which causes beams to lose power over time and eventually dissipate completely into the atmosphere.
All performance issues, it's not uncommon.
As such, local units in the European theater came up with solutions to both the beam attenuation problem as well as to modify their units to better operate in their area. This resulted in the RGM-79F Gym Land Combat type. Standing an even 18 meters tall, the Land Combat type was created by adding new parts onto the existing gym frame, making it better in the European area of operations. The sensors had a range of 6,100 meters, and the generator the suit packs had an output of 1,250 kilowatts. To address the armor and survivability of the suit, the Land Combat type was outfitted with new armor over the head, torso, and shoulders, giving even more protection to the titanium ceramic armor that the Land Combat type was already built with. The placement of this armor was done due to the fact that Europe had a lot of buildings and hills blocking sightlines, and therefore these areas were prioritized for armor as they were getting hit more often, which in turn increased the survivability of the pilots. The armor was even stated to be tough enough to withstand repeated shots from the 120mm Zaku machine gun. Of course, this extra armor increases the overall weight of the mobile suit, as a Land Combat type comes in at 46.2 metric tons empty and 61.5 metric tons fully loaded, making it notably heftier than the standard gym. Of course, with the added weight of the armor, the Land Combat type was equipped with a high performance backpack with 6 thrusters to compensate for the weight. So that's the armor and survivability issue addressed, but we still have to deal with the beam attenuation thing, and the Land Combat type held the solutions for that as well, as it featured 2 new weapon systems specifically designed to address the issue. Firstly, an improved model BOA BRM-75F1 beam spray gun. Based on the original beam spray gun design, it featured newer technology to make it better suited for in-atmospheric use, dealing with the beam attenuation problem directly. The second was an indirect method of dealing with beam attenuation and became the staple weapon of the mobile suit, as it wasn't even a beam weapon, but rather the YHI-YF RC-180 rail cannon. Using electromagnetic rails to fire projectiles, this shoulder-fired weapon was derived from the main cannon of a battleship, making it incredibly deadly, whilst not having the same problems as early beam weapons. Now, as for other weapons that the Land Combat type had at its disposal, it came equipped with a small forearm mounted shield known as a gauntlet, which featured a pair of spikes in case you felt like punching a Zaku in the face that day.
Just punch him in the face!
And for more traditional armaments, the Land Combat type could be outfitted with the standard 100mm machine gun and use the same standard gym shield that was widely used around this point in time. And finally, like most gym models, it featured a backpack mounted beam saber and a pair of 60mm head mounted Vulcan guns. Now, a majority of these Land Combat types were localized modifications made by units in the European theater, which made them extremely specialized for that region. However, due to the success of the Land Combat type, the Federation would actually develop units based on the data gained from the Gym Land Combat type's design. The most prominent of these modifications was without a doubt the Desert Gym, a desert specialized gym model that featured a more powerful rail cannon as well as an improved beam spray gun, iterating on the designs started by the Land Combat type. Later on, the Desert type would even go on to inspire the Close Quarters Gym Striker and the hover-capable Armored Gym. And overall, that's the Gym Land combat type. Out of all the variant models of the Gym, this one has gotta be my personal favorite. Colors, the armor, and just the vibe this thing gives off just speak to me. The backpack also reminds me of the Gundam Ground Type S from Gundam Thunderbolt, which is also a favorite of mine, and I just really like the large bank of thrusters on the backpack. It's just really cool. And really, just seeing this thing and all of its variants really just makes me want a lot more modern high grades of more Gym variants. Like seriously, we have enough Zaku variants, just give us more Gyms! Anyway, that's all from me today. Like, comment, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Nerd Trooper, signing off.